14th. I go over with the captains around.
7 o'clock, we stand for the pledge, call the meeting to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Get your snowplows fired up.
We're engaged.
We're engaged.
Okay, I can get the approval of the minutes of December 18th. If there's any additions or corrections?
So moved.
Okay. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, motion 6, the financial report and payment of the bills.
So move.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. No amendments, anything, Steve?
No, not tonight.
Okay. Lewis?
I have resolution R10, 2014, read it into the record, resolution of the mayor and commissioner of the town of Elkton for the purpose of recognizing and supporting the mayor's drug task force by the town of Elkton. Whereas the mayors of Cecil County's municipalities have long recognized that the pervasive abuse of controlled substances and the adverse consequences of this abuse are a serious issue in communities throughout the county. Whereas the necessity of developing and implementing a coalition involving municipal leadership, community organizations, business leaders, churches, faith-based groups, and individuals is essential to addressing the causes, treatment, and curtailment of substance abuse. Whereas the mayor's drug task force combines the necessary resources and sets forth the goals that support the overall mission of this task force to create a healthy environment for the drug and alcohol-free development of our youth and their families. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and commission of the town of Elkton hereby recognizes and endorses the mission and goals of the mayor's drug task force and pledges its support to ensure the success of this initiative, a copy of which is attached to this resolution. Read and passed the second day of January 2014. I think the mayor's going to send a copy of this to the governor with the other mayors.
The reason we did it by resolution is the rest of the towns, all the mayors have done theirs by resolution, and we discussed it, and well, I'd suggested we only did ours just by the paper, but they all did resolutions, and we'd like to send it copies to the governor in support of the county and in support of our efforts to do something here about this drug problem that we have in the county. So that's why I had Lewis bring up a resolution for us to approve. So can I get a motion to accept resolution R1 2014?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Yes, what do you, as mayors in Cecil County, want the governor to know, other than the fact that you are supporting an element of dissent in your territory, and certainly it's nice that he knows that, but what else are you all looking for him to do?
To give us support and any funding that we can get to open up a rehab center for these people that have these problems on the drugs. That's one of the big things.
Yeah, and I think they're looking for more than that because I was asked to write a letter on behalf of the Boys and Girls Club because they're looking for funding to start in youth organizations, the police, for everything, extra funding to go towards the drug situation.
And he did make a comment. I mean, when he was here with the council, that he was willing to help them, and now we just want to make sure that he hold to his word that he'll help the county in doing something.
Right.
Yeah, I certainly hope that he does something, but, you know, not as a distraction, but the way the world's going now with so many elements, with the shootings in Baltimore, the drugs here, with all the kids, I just hope that money can be equally divided to help with this drug situation. I know certainly we are looked upon as being one of the primary areas of use, and certainly would also help to take away the negativity that we have.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Okay, a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those motion carried. I don't have any old business. Mary Jo?
I have no old business.
Earl?
I have none.
Charlie?
None.
Chuck?
No, I don't have any.
Okay, I don't have any new business other than hope everybody had a good holiday and wish everybody a happy new year and start the new year off and hope everything all goes well. Right, Joe?
I agree with what you said, that's all. And that's all I have.
Earl? Charlie?
I have two elements of new business. Hope won't take you long. I saw a student about 6 months ago, a student that I had in the boys well. The boy quit school and the girl was on the brink of graduating. Even though graduation time has passed, the school was still willing to help her, and the girl was pregnant. So I happened to see her at McDonald's last night. Asked her how was the baby. Of course, she said the baby passed away as soon as it was born. But that shocking thing was, I asked her what was she doing, and she said doing nothing. So I said, where did your boyfriend living? She said they live out there in the tent. I just cannot believe at this day and age that people are actually living like that. I mean, the girl's able to go out and get a job. The young man is able to get out and get a job, but they sleep in tents. And the reason why I asked her what she was doing, because she was saying that somebody else in the McDonald's, y'all get ready to go out to your tents and sleep. And I just cannot believe that. But I guess it's a reality. How do you sleep out there with no lights, no toilets, a hard ground, unless you got one of those mattresses like this to go in the tent? It's just hard to fathom. But I guess it's true. Certainly, I don't know what we can do at Lois, but I got a couple of calls from Buttonwood. I know the parking situation is acute. I think it's even gotten worse. A couple of ladies, I guess they understand the situation. And one lady had to go to the hospital, have tests. And she come back, her car was not be able to park near her home, and she had to walk 2 blocks away from the new parking lot that we put there. And I don't know if a letter could be sent to those people just as a review that we know the parking situation is bad, or unless you want me to identify some places where they are, that you could send them a letter specific.
Okay.
Because and I know if I was elderly, living either by myself or fixed income, you go out and try to do what you have to do and get back. You don't have a place, nearby your home. I guess that could be.
It's a matter of
Not
courtesy.
good.
I think it's just a matter of courtesy.
But see, the guy again also, he brought up the numbers, but I told him that numbers was not in existence anymore. Remember they had numbers out there?
Yep. Because now it's a public road.
Yeah, all of it.
Yep.
And some people have to park, I guess, a couple of units away from their home and probably have to walk 5 minutes or so. But I guess it is what it is. But I'll leave that in your hand, Lois, and the mayor's
Yeah, thank you.
report. Thanks. That's it.
Anything? Yep.
Well, I'm not quite sure how to address my concern, but so I just want to bring it up, I guess, under new business. During this last part of the year, last week or last month, we've had what I think was a significant thing that took place, and I'm not gonna.
What?
We had a significant thing that took place here in the town of Elkton. And, I'm not gonna, bring it specifically up, but what I'd like to do is pose the question, is there something that we could put in place, being the county seat, Elkton being the county seat, that if something of somewhat significance is going to take place, say in our town, that we would be notified and be able to, I guess, have a voice before that actually takes place with the within the county buildings, especially if it's going to take place in Elkton.
Well, I think I know what you're talking about, and I guess they don't really have to tell us, but maybe it could be a task of the mayor, if he's willing, to sit down and talk with the county administrator and ask her if there is something that is going to be pertaining to the town, would she advise him, and then he in turn advise us. I guess that's one option. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would suppose that maybe, that takes place.
But you didn't know about it.
No.
But sometimes things happen, and again, this is just my humble opinion. I'm under the impression that perception is most of the time reality, and I think whenever we have a chance to give a good impression, we ought to, give our most effort to do so. And I think that, the latest decision that took place, I think may have affected our town in many different ways, and I just wish to have had a voice to kind of put a stamp on it before it took place. And I guess that's the reason why I'm asking, is there something that we can put in place that we could get a courtesy meeting or a courtesy notification, basically officially, so that we can make a statement, especially if it could impact the town in a negative or positive way.
I know for sure what Hicks is alluding to. He's basically saying it made it look like we had no control of what took place in the town of Elkton, which it took place in the county. But yet the name and the label came back to the town of Elkton,
You're
which
right, Earl.
we have leadership in the town of Elkton. So I hear what he's saying, that as far as us being able to say, where's the town of Elkton in this issue, we were nowhere involved with the situation. So, I concur with what he's saying, but it's just that some kind of dialogue needs to be done between the county and the town, especially if it's taking place in the county, the seat of the town of Elkton. Because when things went out is, here's what's happening at the town of Elkton. First thing is, it comes from the mayor and the commissioners. We have no say in what is actually taking place. So I agree with you, what you're saying.
And certainly you don't have to be affected because you're an African American. I mean, it could affect downtown. It can affect, out on Route 40 where you got businesses and people are getting their mind, oh man, they still got problems up there, when that's not really true.
Right.
It affects all of us. Black, white, purple, orange, or what have you.
Right. And again, I don't want to focus on this particular issue, even though I think it is important. I just would like to put something in place so that, again, if it's some type of issue that could affect the town, because that's what it is. The perception is that it took place in the town of Elkton, which it did.
Now, Louis, if you recall, you remember they marched here, and I think another time they had an opportunity to speak here. Why, and I'm looking back, and I don't know, why did they come to the town of Elkton and not to the county then? But this time, I think they went to the county.
Different people.
Yeah,
Mr. Knowles and
But that's I know, but I was just wondering why the switch with
The
their
county was
permission.
in the town. It was down Main Street. County was downtown.
But
Oh, that's right. You're right, Mary Jo. I didn't think about
It
that.
was down, all government was down.
You're right. I'm sorry, I answered my own question.
the town fought that for a while and ended up losing.
That's right.
And cost us money.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you something too. I don't disagree with you at all. I'm appalled, but I can't say the county had no choice in that matter. Because if they had said no, then they would have been down in federal court too.
Oh, no.
And now let me finish, man. That's what they're trying to do. But do I think that maybe you all could have been notified and talked about it? Maybe so, yeah, I agree with you. I think so too, because if anybody looked at it, would have seen it was in the county office building. But I know they think it's in Elkton. And it is in the town of Elkton limits. But it's in the county office building. It's a bad spot and what have you. And I think you all probably should have been notified so you can make a statement. I agree.
One thing I will
But
say.
nothing we could do about it. I mean, nothing
Well,
they could do
No,
about it.
and I understand that. That's a point well taken. But I mean, you summed it up for me. That's kind of my vision of what I'm trying to accomplish, is that, again, we just have that ability to let them know what the town is about ahead of time, where the town stands. Okay? And don't get me wrong, it was a nice job done afterwards, but again, to be proactive, to have something in place,
Yeah,
I would like that.
I don't disagree with that. And I think the mayor probably could contact Terry or Al and say, if anything comes up like this again, that would be offensive to people.
Well, one of the things I do want to put on record. In the town of Elkton, one of the things that should have been flagged and identified, you cannot walk into a bank in a uniform. Why should we allow this in a public building? You can't see the face, you can't see, that's something that I really was really against that allowed, that shouldn't have happened. If you're gonna go any place in a public building, it's because of the 9/11, everything else, getting on the plane, I guarantee you that uniform outfit will not be allowed in a public building. And that's one thing I really stand for.
Good
Earl,
point.
Earl,
Good point.
I agree. I
That's a
agree
good
with
point.
you 100%. And I think that, you know, again, ahead of time we had discussion about it. There could have been some rules or ground rules laid down that was acceptable, or had some input in that. So I
For-
totally agree with you
For where?
for what he's talking
For the
about.
bank?
The address.
Any public building.
Well, I don't know there's a rule for any public building.
Yeah,
We
still
talking
have
about bank or where?
Any public building, I guess, would qualify.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think,
coming in
you
with a
know,
mask or a
Or
hood.
I don't know if
any
there's a statute or not.
organization, what they're looking for is press.
Mhm.
And the quieter you keep it, there was no headlines the next day in the paper. They all focused on the holidays. So they did not get what they came here to achieve, which was big headlines, but, you know, they came, they left.
Yeah, you're right, I thought that was good, talking to County and Matt and everybody, I thought that was good timing, was because it was around the holidays and people were busy and they didn't want to be bothered with that, they just
Well,
had holidays and
Way again, the
Christmas.
Guardian both
That's
said,
good.
you know, that wasn't important. And because that's what they want. They want the
The press.
publicity.
And that's true, but I don't know, it's been a long time since they were here before, and, you know, they had hoods and what have you, so I don't know if there's a statute or what we can do to prevent that from happening. That's a government agency.
Well, they keep saying everybody has freedom of speech and
Right.
freedom of do what they pretty much want, like marching, I think that's where we got in trouble before.
We did,
Yeah, because we didn't want them to march and that's what happened.
right?
So you just, it's like, just gotta be very careful how you do it, right? Well, we can let the county know, I'll get with county
Well,
exec and find
I'll
out.
let kind of know that you'd be interested in knowing before it happens, not after,
Right,
what's going on.
Or you can always send them a letter proceeding and ask them for a visit with someone. That way you got it documented, and the fact that you want to visit with somebody regarding that discussion, I always believe a lot of time you got to have something in writing.
Yeah, and I
It
guess.
validates you.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100% because I know communication is good, and I know a phone call would be good, but again, this is something I think should be put in place because again, the perception is, and I'm talking about, you have to look at newspapers outside of just the town. I mean, it was Delaware and so forth, Pennsylvania, those newspapers, and again, the perception is that Elkton, town of Elkton. So, and that's what I wish to protect and make sure that they get the right vision of Elkton.
okay. All righty, will do. Anything else? Hearing none? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
A second. All those in favor? Aye. This meeting's adjourned.